The Northern Expedition. With a new alliance in 1924, CPC and Kuomintang prepared for the Northern Expedition to remove the rule of the warlords and break military and political control of imperialist countries. In July 1926, the National Revolution Army set off from Guangzhou. The Northern Expeditionary Army captured Tangshan and pressed on toward Wuhan, which was heavily fortified. The prominent 4th Independent Regiment, composed mainly of communists, fought courageously and won the title of Iron Army. They broke through the line of defense, crossed the Yangtze River, and occupied Wuhan. In March 1927, Zhou Enlai led the workers of Shanghai in an armed uprising, ensuring the smooth entry of the army into Shanghai. At the end of March, they occupied Nanjing. The Northern Expedition was supported by the people. It struck a heavy blow at the reactionary warlords and lit the flame of revolution over half of China. The Nanchang Uprising. On April 12, 1927, Chiang Kai-shek staged a reactionary coup in Shanghai, killing over 300 CPC members. Then the tragedy spread to Guangdong, Jiangsu, and so on. On July 15th, the government in Wuhan, led by Wang Jingwei, started to arrest and kill CPC members. The first Kuomintang CPC cooperation dissolved, and a period of white terror began in China. On August 1st, 1927, Zhou Enlai, He Long, Ye Qin, Zhu De, and Liu Bocheng led the Nanchang Uprising. They beat the National Army and seized Nanchang. But Chen dispatched an army and retook it. The insurgents then marched toward Guangdong. The uprising was the first shot of the CPC's armed struggle against the Kuomintang. With its own army, the CPC led the revolution independently and seized the governing power through armed forces. The Long March of 25,000 li. In 1933, Chiang Kai-shek assembled a force of 1 million men and launched the encirclement and suppression campaign for the 5th time. For grave mistakes of leaders of the Central Committee of the CPC, the Red Army failed. In October 1934, the Red Army was forced to retreat from its central base areas in Jiangxi and Fujian, and began the famous Long March. The Red Army had to cross snow-covered mountains and uninhabited grassland without foods. Soldiers had to eat tree barks and wild herbs. Under siege, they often fell prey to the army of the Kuomintang. After the Zunyi Conference in January 1935, the Red Army adopted correct strategies, took the initiative, and won many battles. In October 1935, the Central Column reached the Wuqi in Shanxi and joined forces led by Liu Zhidan. In October 1936, 3 major columns converged in Huining area, and it marked the completion of the Long March. The September 18th incident. On the evening of September 18th, 1931, Japanese troops blew up part of a railway line near Shenyang and accused the Chinese army of launching an attack. They attacked the barracks of the Northeast Army and Shenyang. With massive casualties, the city was lost overnight. The government was busy eliminating the CPC, and Chiang Kai-shek ordered the Northeast Army not to resist the Japanese. He claimed that the time had not come, and the CPC was the greatest enemy. Japanese army occupied the 3 provinces of northeast China in 4 months. They established a state of Manchukuo there, with Puyi, the abdicated emperor of the Qing dynasty, as its puppet ruler. The Japanese invasion aroused indignation, and army volunteers were formed to fight against the invaders.